Hi and welcome to AFTV. I've got Robbie with me. We've just lost to Man City 2-1. Went down to 10 men. I want to ask you, the gap between the Chelseas, the Liverpools and the Man Cities, do you think it's tighter than most people expect, especially after the performance we saw today?
Well, I think City are clearly better than everybody else at the moment in the league. they got the best team.
Yep.
They got the best squads. You know what I mean? You can see they got Jack Grealish and people like that on the bench. No Foden. So they got an unbelievable squad, and they're running away with the league. So you got to say that the gap between them. I think Liverpool are better than us as well, and Chelsea at the moment as well. But I think after that, Arsenal proved today that they are one of those teams that are chasing down the top 4 spot. Genuinely, are one of those teams chasing down that spot. You know what I mean? We went toe to toe with them in the first half. We were the better team. We could have had more goals in that first half. Deserved our lead in the second half. Up until the penalty, we were the better team in the second half as well. I don't think City knew what hit them, and we were outstanding today. The way we closed them down. But not just our hard work and closing down. You know what I mean? The way we created, the way we moved the ball, it was an exceptional Arsenal performance. And I wanted to see that today because I'm like, we've been seeing good performances over the past month, but against teams we're kind of expected to do well against. What can we do against these guys? And I thought City were very, very lucky today to get away with 3 points today. Didn't deserve it. That's like a victory against the run of play.
Yeah. Is it like a checkpoint for us as Arsenal fans in the season, Robbie, of where we're at and where we can potentially go from what you saw today?
100%. So many fans came out today and said, you know what, I'm proud of the team. And they're proud of the team because they saw a big performance against a big team. And that's what you want to see. And I feel that, this team, we're starting to see the makings of a good team. We need to add more quality to it. It's still a very young team. Gabriel today stupidly got himself sent off. Again,
was it unfair on him, or was it that second yellow?
The referee was terrible today. But if you know the referee is poor, you've got to try and separate yourself away from the emotion of the game. And he's a young player, and I think he kind of got caught up a bit with the emotion of the game. But it was a good performance today. Referee, by the way, today, absolutely shocking.
What are you annoyed with from the ref, Robbie? You're annoyed that he didn't check the VAR for the first compared to...
Listen, you can't blame him not checking the VAR on the first one on the ref because he has to be sent to by the VAR. So collectively, it was terrible because, send him to go and check it. But they got this thing about it's not a clear and obvious. But then the second one they think is clear and obvious. You know what I mean? It's so inconsistent. But it wasn't even just that. I just thought the referee today, he was just so inconsistent. A City player, Rodri was leaving one on players. He'd warn him. You know what I mean? He'd warn City players. Or with Arsenal players, he'd give them the yellow card. You know what I mean? A guy said earlier, it didn't seem like we were playing at home, and it was true. You know what I mean? The referee was very, very poor today. And like another fan said earlier, maybe he was out last night. Maybe he was celebrating New Year's Eve and he had a load to drink. He didn't get because he was a last-minute pick, wasn't he? So he was shocking today. He kind of spoilt the game. I would have loved to have seen that game complete 11 on 11. I would have loved to have seen that because I think Arsenal would have won the game.
Oh no! Do you think VAR then on the officials and officiating before we move on? Is it better in the game or making it worse, or is it exposing the referees of how bad they are or how good they are?
VAR, I think, needed to come into football. We're in a modern society. You know what I mean? Every other sport has got technology. So many decisions were being done wrong. The VAR needed to come in, and VAR, I think, long term is a good thing for the game. Because it makes sure you get most of the decisions right. Unfortunately, at the moment, VAR in the Premier League is poor. You got referees who in the VAR centre, making weird decisions. It's just not used right. I think if there's better communication, if like in other sports we could hear the reason why. Tell us the reason why during the game, why you're not saying to him to go and look at the screen. Maybe if we sort of had a bit more transparency with that, the VAR will improve. But for some reason in football, even though football is supposed to be the people's game, it's the most snobbish sport there is. Last to bring in video technology, last to any time there's any sort of changes that other sports have made and it works in, we never want to do it. We don't want to hook up the referee to the stadium mic. I mean, they do it in American football. They do it in all this.
But would you say they might be doing that to protect the integrity of the game?
The integrity of the game. When you see things like today, is, you know, every fan's come out of it, and there is no integrity. People are talking about it's corrupt and things like that.
It's true.
What integrity is in there? So, mic up the referees, like what they do in other sports. Why do they do it in other sports? Yeah. How they do it in other sports? They don't do it in football. Why is football so snobbish?
Yeah. Okay.
Why are we? What, you know what I mean? It's you know,
it's frustrating.
It's frustrating because, you know, a game like today has been ruined by poor refereeing decisions. I would have loved to have seen that game, you know, just pan out how it should have been and see that, you know, the best team wins.
Yeah.
But City are a good side, but we went toe to toe to them, and I think we've proven today that this team definitely is not a fluke that we're in the top four, and we've got a great shout of getting into that top four this season.
Now, on that, before we end, Robbie, then I'll ask Turkish about this. The trust in the side. Trust is going around a lot at the moment with the transfer windows and whatnot. Is this a side you can trust from the owners through to Edu, through to Arteta? You're starting to see a process. You're starting to see the signings.
You've got to give a certain amount of trust now to the guys, you know, Edu and Arteta when they're doing transfers, because what they did in the summer. They done brilliant business, you know. They did brilliant business in the summer, and when you also look back on it as well, you know, did you know who Gabriel Martinelli was? Go and ask any fan out there.
Or Gabriel
You know, somebody here. Again, the rumor is Edu had a lot to do with it. Somebody bought that guy. Did you know Gabriel? Yeah. Someone's bought him in. Yeah. So all right, they maybe in the last couple of transfer windows they haven't bought in the glamour names, but the names that they bought in, these are quality players. Takehiro Tomiyasu was brilliant today. He's up against Raheem Sterling, who normally rips us apart. And I don't think it's for want of trying today that he was trying to rip us apart, but he was up against a very, very top quality right back in Takehiro Tomiyasu. Somebody bought him. Those guys bought him in the summer. So I'm a lot more trusting of them in this transfer window. I think I'm more trusting of them than I've been for a very, very long time. Because if they come and they bring in a name that he's not the mega name out there, you know what I mean?
Throw up and go mad.
I'm going to be like, all right, let me see what this guy's like. Because look at Ramsdale, look at, you know, Sambi Lokonga, Nuno Tavares, look at all theyese players. So they've earned the trust. They've earned it. This show is brought to you by Manscaped. Use the code AFTV for 20% off your order and free shipping at manscaped.com.